Thank you for joining. Let's chant the Mangalasharan prayers. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarur Vyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhivacha Paridanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Wish you all a very happy Ekadashi. For some of you it's I don't know if it's today or it was yesterday. We are studying chapter 11 of Bhagavad-gita, the universal form, also known as Vishwarup Darshan Yoga. And yesterday we completed first 14 verses. So now we'll begin with the 15th verse, which is the beginning of a new topic or a new theme within the chapter. You remember yesterday when we stopped, we were actually discussing Sanjaya's narration of universal form to Dhritarashtra. How did Sanjaya see? Now Vyasadeva is again changing the spotlight from over Sanjaya to Arjuna and explaining from Arjuna's perspective, keeping him as the first person, what he is experiencing in the universal form, what he is seeing in the universal form. So let's chant Mangalacharan prayer for Bhagavad-gita. Namostute Yasa Vishala Buddhe Fulladavindayata Patra Netre Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajavalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vaitraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Amrita Duhe Namaha. So Arjuna's experience of seeing the universal form. Verses 15 to 31. So this section doesn't have much explanation. We'll quickly just read through the entire section, what Arjuna was seeing in the universal form. Let's go to verse number 15. Okay. Arjuna Uvacha Pashyami Devans Tava Deva Dehe Sarvang Satha Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan Brahmanam Isham Kamalasanastham Rishingsha Sarvan Urugangsha Divyan. Arjuna said, My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents. So he sees all the demigods, right? So you remember there are 4 aspects of universal form, and first was seeing the form as the totality of all the demigods, all the devatas. So Arjuna is seeing that. He's seeing Shiva in that form, he's seeing Brahma in that form, he's seeing all the other demigods in that form, and also he sees all the other living entities in that form. Purport. Someone will volunteer reading? Antara Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Arjuna sees everything in the universe. Therefore, he sees Brahma, who is the first creature in the universe, and the celestial serpent, upon which the 𝗪𝗵𝗿𝗁 Vishnu lies in the lower region of the universe. This snake bed is called Vasuki. There are also other snakes known as Vasuki. Arjuna can see from the 𝗪𝗵𝗿𝗁 Vishnu up to the topmost part of the universe on the lotus flower planet, where Brahma, the first creature of the universe, resides. That means that from the beginning to the end, everything could be seen by Arjuna, who was sitting in one place on his chariot. This was possible by the grace of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Next verse. Aneka bahudara bhaktra netram pashyami tam sarvatvananta rupam nantam namadhyam napunastavadim pashyami vishveshwara vishwarupa. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes, expanded everywhere, without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. So this verse talks about Krishna form having 1,000 heads, or the form of the creator. Rajat Prabhu, you wanted to read? Oh, it's a very small purport. Let me read. I'll give you a longer one. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is unlimited. Thus, through him, everything could be seen. Text 17. Kiritinang gadinang chakrinang cha tejo nashim sarvata diptimantam pashyami tvam durniriksham samantat dipta nalaka dutima prameyam. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. Again, he's seeing many, many crowns, clubs, and discs, which means many hands. Text 18. Tvamaksharam paramam veditavyam tvamasya vishvasya param nidhanam tvamavyaya shashvata dharma gopta sanatanastvam purusho mato me. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible, and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. Text 19. Anadimadhyantam anantaviryam anantabahum shashisurya netram pashyami tam dipta hutashavakram swatejasa vishramidam tapantam. You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. Rajat Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. There is no limit to the extent of the 6 opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here and in many other places, there is repetition, but according to the scriptures, repetition of the glories of Krishna is not a literary weakness. It is said that at a time of bewilderment, or wonder, or of great ecstasy, statements are repeated over and over. That is not a flaw.
Correct. That is not a flaw. So now, it will be nice for you all to note this, that these verses from 15 to 31, which describe Arjuna's experience of the universal form, it has subsections. So in verse 15 to 18, which we read, Arjuna sees the Vishwarupa, the universal form. Then in verses 19 to 23, which is a part of the universal form, Vishwarupa, Arjuna sees another form known as Kalarupa, the form of time. So he sees that in 19 to 23. And then after seeing that, Arjuna's pitiful state is observed in verses 24 to 25. He is very disturbed. And finally, Arjuna sees the future outcomes of the war, 26 to 29. All these verses from 19 to 29, also including 30th, they are actually Kalarupa. So Vishwarupa, the universal form, has a very specific aspect of it known as Kalarupa, the form of time or the form of death. And Arjuna is seeing that because Arjuna had a desire to know what will be the outcome of this battle. Who will win? Who will survive? How the battle will happen. So he had that desire. Like in the beginning, chapter 2, verse number 6, if you remember, Arjuna gives the fifth reason to not fight. And his fifth reason to not fight was, he was not able to decide what is good or what is bad in this situation. Like he was in double minds. If he fights, he may lose. If he fights, he may win. So that's why he was not sure to fight or not. So because of that doubt in his mind or that curiosity in him, what will be the outcome of this war, Kalarupa will also show to him what will be the outcome of this war. And Krishna promised that already in the chapter before, that Arjuna, whatever you want to see, the past, present, or future, this Vishwarupa will show to you. So it is a conscious form of Krishna which is manifesting in front of the eyes of Arjuna, the way the mind of Arjuna is functioning, based on that, it is being showed. Now here in this verse which we just read, Anadi Madhyandam Ananta Vidyam Ananta Bahum Shashi Surya Netram Pashyami Tvam Dipta Hutasha Vaktram Swadejasa Vishramidam Dapantam. The eyes of Krishna are compared to two planets. One is Shashi and the other is Surya. Shashi means moon, Surya means sun. Now, why is it that Krishna's eyes are compared to sun and moon? What is the purpose of this comparison? And there is only one sun and there is only one moon. Generally, a human form has two eyes. There are no two suns or two moons. So one eye is like the sun and the other eye is like the moon, which is not very good to look at. So why there is a comparison with sun and moon? Any thoughts on that?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
If we are not right, like we are doing something wrong, we are not good, means, so he he spreads the heat like sun, and we are good and devotees and we love him and whatever we do is right, then his eyes is like moon, other eyes is like moon.
Very good. Thank you. Perfect answer. So here the two eyes in the form of sun and moon represents Krishna's dealing with two kinds of people. What do the eyes do? The eyes, they witness, they see, they are sakshi for what goes around. So Krishna is witnessing our actions through his eyes of sun and moon. And also there are many other witnesses for him. And then based on what we do, if we are behaving like a demigod, a devata, we are doing the right things, then Krishna's eyes towards us are like the moon, very, very soothing and cooling sensation, very pleasant to experience. But if someone is doing nefarious activities, wrong things, like the demons, then Krishna's eyes for that person becomes like sun, very, very strong and harsh, giving out scorching heat. And people can feel that. So those who are demons or those who are demonic in nature, they'll always feel the heat of material nature. The heat of material nature means they'll have this burning sensation while living their life. That means a lot of anxiety, tension, stress, depression, headache, all kinds of kleshas will torment such people. Why? Because of demoniac life. And then those who are living a divine life, the life of demigods, for them, life is going to be very pleasant. They will have the experience of the soothing moon's shine coming from Krishna, because Krishna is going to nourish them in that way. So now the interesting thing is that Krishna's eyes and our eyes are quite different. For our eyes, we don't have the source of light within our eyes. We need to depend on an external source of light to see. How interesting it would be if our eyes would have been like a torchlight. You open the eyelids, and suddenly the eyes, they give out light, and wherever the light falls, you can see whatever you want to see. Some I don't know, in some cartoons they might have made such characters. When they open the eyelids, then the light comes out of the eyes, and then you can see whatever you want to see. No need to buy a torchlight in that case. But Krishna's eyes are something like that. The sun wants to see, so the sun doesn't need to depend on any external source of light. And similarly, if the moon wants to see, it doesn't have to depend on any external source of light. So the eyes itself shows, and that's how Krishna sees, and accordingly he reciprocates. Next verse. Next verse is 20. Yava prithivyor idamantaram hi vyaptam tvaikena dishascha sarvaha drishvadbhutam rupamugram tavedam lokatrayam pravyatitam mahatman. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O great ones, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. Everyone is terrified looking at which form? Kala Rupa. Why would people not be afraid? Because they are doing wrong things. So when they see death, they get panicked. They already know that after the death, they will have bad times to spend in the court of 𝗪𝗏 and in the hellish planets. Let's read Sureka Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Sadhana. 𝗪𝗏𝗿𝗶, the space between heaven and the earth, and Lokatrayam, the three worlds, are significant words in this verse because it appears that not only did Arjuna see this universal form of Lord, but others in the other planetary systems saw it also. Arjuna's seeing of the universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw that universal form on the battlefield. Hare Krishna.
Correct. So here it's becoming clear that many could see the universal form depending on who all were given that vision, right? They all saw. And those who are not given that vision, for them it was just a normal conversation going on between Arjuna and Krishna. Text 21. Amihitvam surasangha vishanti kechid bhitaha pranjalayo grinanti swastyuktva maharshi siddha sangaha stuvanti tam stutibhi puskalabhihi. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying, all peace, swasti, swasti, are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. Purport. The demigods in all the planetary systems feared the terrific manifestation of the universal form and its glaring effulgence, and so prayed for protection. Text 22. Rudraditya vasavo yecha sadhya vishveshvino marutaschoshmapascha gandharva yaksha surasiddha sangha vikshanti tam vismitashaiva sarve. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishwadevas, the two Ashvis, the Marus, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. Again, it shows the totality of all demigods. 23. Rupam mahatte bahuvaktra netram mahabaho bahu bahurupadam bahudaram bahudangshta karalam drishtva loka pravyatitastataham. O mighty armed one, all the planets with the demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form, with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. So here Arjuna is saying, not only are they scared, they disturbed, but I'm also very, very disturbed to see this form of yours, Kala Rupa. So Arjuna is disturbed now. His state of mind has again changed, right? Now, again, there is a change of rasa here. Previously, I told you that Arjuna was experiencing Adbhut rasa, the rasa of wonder or amazement. It's one of the 7 secondary rasas. So now again, there is a change of rasa. So can you identify which rasa Arjuna is talking about now? Out of those 7, which one is experiencing? Amazement, humor. Okay, some of you put in the chat box. Fear. Okay, bhibhatsa, some said fear. Okay. Yes, so the answer is fear. Arjuna is experiencing the rasa of bhai, fear. Yes, he's frightened looking at that form. So that is the change of rasa here. Next verse. '24. Nabhasprisham deeptamanekavarnam vyatatananam deeptavishalanetram drishtva hitvam pravyathitantaratma dhritim navindami shamam cha Vishnu. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths, and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. He's so disturbed now that he's not able to maintain any equilibrium of mind, which means his mind is now full of fear. You know, when fear enters the mind begins to race up and down. It cannot remain steady. It cannot remain focused on one subject. It will always be jumping, right? And basically, as people say, there won't be any peace of mind. So this is what is happening with Arjuna here. I missed 23. No, we did read 23. We did read 23, then we came to 24. Now 25. Dangshta karalani chate mukhani drishtvaiva kalana lasannibhani disho najane nalabe cha sharma prasida devesha jagan nivasa. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. Now he started praying. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth in all directions. I am bewildered. 26-27. Ami chatvam dhritarashtrasya putraha sarve saheva vanipala sangyehi Bhishmo dronaha sutaputras tathaso sahasmadiyer api yodha mukhyehi Bhaktrani te tvaramana vishanti Dangshra karalani bhayanakani Kechid vilagna dashanantareshu Sandrishyante churni teruttamangehi. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouths, and some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. So just like we have this vegetable chopper, so Krishna's teeth was chopping the heads of the different warriors in that battlefield. And Arjuna was seeing, blood dripping from the mouth and that universal form with its so many faces, licking the lips, and sucking the blood inside, and fire coming out from the mouths. So it was a very ghastly scene, very, very horrifying. And Arjuna is therefore very disturbed in mind. Bhakti Mataji, please read.
In a previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjuna things he would be interested in seeing. Now Arjuna sees that the leaders of the opposite party, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra and their soldiers and Arjuna's own soldiers are being annihilated. This is an indication that after the death of nearly all the persons assembled at Kurukshetra, Arjuna will be emerged victorious. It is also mentioned here that Bhishma, who is supposed to be unconquerable, will also be smashed. So also Karna. Not only will the great warriors of the other party like Bhishma be smashed, but some of the great warriors of Arjuna's side also. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So everyone will be smashed, most of them actually. Almost everyone on Kaurava's side, and except a few, everyone on the Pandava's side. And Arjuna was seeing that happening in front of his eyes. So he was seeing the future. He was seeing the outcome of the war. After 18 days, what will be the final result? He was seeing that, So this made Arjuna very, very disturbed. Now, what he saw, the destruction, he's explaining that in 2 verses, 28 and 29. He uses analogies to explain that. So first analogy is given in 28 and second analogy is given in 29. It's 28. Yatha nadinam bhavom bhuvegaha samudrameva bhimukha dravanti tatha tavami naraloka vira vishanti vaktrani abhivijvalanti. So translation says, as the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors end up blazing into your mouths. So if you have seen this sight, the rivers entering into the ocean, just like a river Ganges entering into the Bay of Bengal. So it makes a very strong sound, gushing sound. It's like kind of an explosion. The river enters into the ocean. And one can imagine that or visualize that as if the ocean is opening its mouth and the river is entering into it and making so much of sound. So someone may also get frightened to see that sight. However, it's not so unpleasant. It's quite nice to see, but it makes a lot of sound. The next one is, again, not so pleasant experience to see, and the destruction. Yatha pradiptam jwalanam patanga vishanti nashaya samriddha vegaha tathaiva nashaya vishanti lokas tavapi vaktrani samriddha vegaha. So the word vegaha is used in both the verses. Vegaha means force, vegaha, by force. So in the verse 28, the word is 𝗪𝗵𝗿. 𝗪𝗵𝗿 means the force of water, right? And in the verse 29, it's written samriddha-vegaha, full speed, rushing again, vegaha. What is rushing? I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. So Arjuna is giving two descriptions. One is river entering into ocean, and the other is moths entering into fire. This is how he saw the destruction of the warriors on the battlefield. Why two descriptions? There are two analogies given here. The rivers cause great destruction. If there's a flood, we know a river can take away cities also. And then there is destruction of moth entering into fire. So why is Arjuna giving here two kind of descriptions for the same end result? Why is that? Okay, Maheshi.
Guruji, actually it is because Arjuna is looking at this kind of thing, the nadis, the rivers going to the ocean, as like, sajjan people, like Daivi people who are devotees of Bhagwan. They will go as like river is meeting Sagar. So it is a pleasant one, they will ultimately enter Bhagwan's feet, lotus feet. That is number one. And for number two, the demonian activities people, they will be burnt out by Bhagwan, So like Patanga, when he goes to the lamp, he actually goes there, Bhagwan, and the lamp attracts it, and he actually gets that, moth or Patanga gets distracted there. So Arjuna looking at two kind of people, like devotees and otherwise like.
Very good. Thank you. So one
Thank
will
you.
experience death as a rat, and the other will experience the death as the kitten. For both rats and kitten, cat is carrying them in the mouth. So for one of them, it's a very sweet experience. For the other, it's a very terrible experience. So two kinds of experience. Anything else? That is one correct explanation. Then there's another way of looking at these two analogies. What is that? Sureka Mataji.
Prabhuji, the devotees will go to Goloka Dham, and the demonic people will merge into the effulgence of Lord's body.
Okay, fine. That was there. But then why two analogies of river and moth? Finally, both of them are ending.
River finds its final destination as a devotee, and the moth merges into the fire.
Okay, fine. All right, so there is another point, which is this, that when someone dies, the death can be in two ways. One is, you have lived your life, what was given to you, your quota, and now it's your time to die. Rivers entering into the ocean is something like that. So in that battlefield, there were two kinds of warriors. One set of warriors were those who were dying there because it was their time to die. And there was another set of warriors who could have lived for a longer time, but because of their misdeeds, their life was shortened. Just like a moth, if likes, can live for long, but because of that attraction towards fire, it causes self-destruction. If the moth doesn't enter into fire, the moth can survive for a few more hours. But it causes its own destruction by getting attracted to that fire. Similarly, there were soldiers in that battlefield who had invited death before their death, who had actually invited death before their death. And who were there? They were the Kauravas. And what did they do to invite death before their death? They had tried to disrobe Draupadi, and because of that, they were cursed that their lifespan will be reduced. This is what Krishna promised to Draupadi. And all of those people who experienced, your humiliation, they will have a reduced lifespan, so their lifespan got reduced because of that. Next verse. No, not next verse. So here we understand one thing, that lifespan given to us at the time of our birth is something which we can change also, depending on what we do in our life. It's just like a person taking an apartment on rent, so there is a deed signed that you can stay in this apartment for 11 months. And after that 11 months is over, then either the owner will ask you to leave, or the owner can give you another one more, year to live, or few more months. So it depends on what? It depends on how do I live in that apartment. If I do something wrong, I cause some damage, the owner may ask me to leave in just few months. Get out. No, you cannot stay here even for 11 months. And if I behave very well, I'm a gentleman, then the owner may allow me to stay for longer time. Similarly, by engaging in wrong activities, by eating wrong kinds of food stuff, by not having proper daily habits or daily routine, people in Kali Yuga are reducing their lifespan. As such, Kali Yuga people are allowed to live for 100 years. They are given that much time. But because they misuse the facilities given to them, and they play with the nature's laws, their lifespan gets reduced. So at present, the average lifespan of human beings on planet Earth is somewhere around 60 to 70. That's how much people survive on average, So they have reduced their lifespan because of wrong habits. And it's going to get lesser and lesser, lesser and lesser day by day. Day by day, it's going to become lesser and lesser because of wrong kind of lifestyle, right? In Ishopanishad, when we study, there is a verse which says that if we live life following God's law, known as Ishavasya, then one can live for thousands of years. Means one will not be dragged out of the body. But when people, they don't live like that, then their life is shortened and they die soon because they played with the nature's laws. So here, same thing is happening with Kauravas. Same thing is happening with Kauravas. They are dying before their death. Okay. Next verse. 30. Lerhiyase grasamana samantam lokan samagran vadane jwaladbhihi tejobhir apurya jagat samagram bhasastavograha pratapanti Vishnu. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. And then finally, now Arjuna asks a question to Krishna because he is quite disturbed. So he's making him this question, two questions. Akhyahi me ko bhavan ugra rupo namostu deva vara prasida vidyatumichhami bhavantamadhyam nahi prajanami tava pravrittim. So akhyahi me ko bhavan ugra rupo. So he's saying this ferocious form, ugra rupa. Akhyahi, what is this? Please tell. Who are you? First question. Second, what is your mission? Vigyatum ichhami bhavantam adyam nahi prajanami tava pravrittam. What do you want to do? What is your intention? Looking at that form, Arjuna is asking. So we should know, when Krishna was showing the universal form to Arjuna, Arjuna was not seeing Krishna in front of him. Krishna had become invisible. Now Arjuna was only seeing the form. So when Arjuna is asking these questions, he's not asking to Krishna. He's asking these questions to that form. which he was seeing, the universal form, So he's asking, who are you and what is your mission, So these two questions come out of his mouth. Let's read the. Okay, there's no purport, I think. No purport. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form. Just a second. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. I do not know what your mission is. Okay. Okay, so there's a question. I'll take that before we go to the next section. What about all Maharajas and Sannyasis? Why they do not live to 1,000 years? Thank you for the question. So the Ishopanishad verse, when it says such a person can live for 1,000 years, it doesn't mean that that person has to live for 1,000 years. What it means to say is that because that person is living without engaging in karma or vikarma, is engaging in akarma, that person can live for as long as he desires. However, for those who are devotees of Krishna, they would not want to live for so long. And Krishna also would not want them to live for so long, because Krishna wants them back to his abode. So look at the life of great acharyas. They live for a very short time because they come to this world on a mission. They come, they execute that mission, and then they go. They don't spend much time here. Two reasons why. First, Krishna wants them back. Second, they go from here to another universe to again start a new mission there. So they are like the fire emergency services, when there is a fire breakout, so then the fire engines, they come to your place, they extinguish the fire, and then they don't stay back there. They go. Once their job is done, they similarly, the acharyas, when they come to this world, they are fire extinguishers. They come, do their job, and then they go. So that's the reason that not all live for long. And also because of there are so many sannyasis or maharajas or any devotee, mostly, not all are devotees from their birth. They become devotees after some period of time. So then they also, because of that, they have then, certain prarabdha for the body. And due to devotional service, that prarabdha gets diluted, but still sometimes certain amount remains. So all sannyasis are not at the same level. There are different kinds of sannyasis, different level of sannyasis. Just like all devotees are not at the same level. So understanding is that because of not engaging in karma, they can live for long, but doesn't mean they have to live for long, or Krishna will make them live for long. Okay, so yes, Mataji.
Sorry to interrupt you. Prabhuji, what everything was going on, Sanjay was describing to Dhritarashtra, right?
Yes.
Is it that he somehow or other he already knew that his sons would be vanished in this war?
Yes. He knew. He knew in many ways, he knew that. It's not the first time he's getting to know it. So many people have come before and already mentioned to Dhritarashtra. So it's not that first time Dhritarashtra is hearing someone say that your sons will die, they'll definitely meet death. Dhritarashtra has been told that before many times by different people. However, it was Dhritarashtra's, you can say, adamant nature. And Dhritarashtra was taking shelter of one kind of philosophy known as 𝗹𝗶. 𝗹𝗶 means you behave in a way as if you're totally helpless, thinking that after all, if everyone belonging to Kaurava army is going to die, and that's what is destined to happen, then who am I to do something? What can I do? So Dhritarashtra was a victim of this kind of mentality, that if this is all destined, then this will happen. Even if I say, even if I say no war, or if I say yes, there should be a war, this will happen. So Dhritarashtra was taking shelter of this conception called Daivavad, that everything is destined. So let things happen the way they are happening. I'm not going to interfere. I'm not going to do anything. I'll just watch what will happen. I'll just observe. So Dhritarashtra was consoling himself by this philosophy that I cannot do anything in this situation. I'm helpless. I'm like a pawn in the hands of the providence. So, but that foolish Dhritarashtra was not understanding that the same providence was coming in front of him in the form of Krishna and telling him to do something. But he was not doing. So that was because he was attached to, to his desires. And when one is attached, even if one is getting all the signals of what's going to happen next, one still continues to have some hope that this may not happen. This will not happen. One may also pray that let this not happen. Correct? So because of strong attachment, like people who get terminal diseases, don't they know that they're going to die? They very well know they're going to die. But only few of them, they accept the truth that I'm going to die, and they start living their life in that way. Most of them, still they have this desire. If some doctor can make me live for 10 more days, if some doctor can make me live for 10 more months, if some doctor can make me live for a few more years, they're always trying to find that doctor. Who is that doctor? Why? Because of material attachment, strong material attachment, one doesn't let go. Very few people are strong enough to finally decide, okay, now finish. My time has come, so I should not now put efforts to survive anymore. I should just accept death like that. Those are courageous ones. They save a lot of money, in that way. Otherwise, there are people who are somehow they're surviving in the hospital, living on oxygen supply, but they are as good as potatoes. I mean, useless, but still they will survive. Their relatives spend lakhs and lakhs of money to keep them on ventilators, and working hard, sometimes even doing wrong things to buy the medicines and medical facilities for them. And if they survive, what will they do other than just, pass urine and stool in the bed where they sleep? Nothing more than that they can do. Still they want to survive some more days. So that's same with Dhritarashtra. He knows everything, what is going to happen. Attachment makes him not accept, right? Because of attachment, doesn't want to accept the reality because of attachment. Okay, before we go to the next section, we will take a break. This time I'm giving a break in 50 minutes because I don't want to start a new section.
Hare
Okay, welcome back. So now we'll begin the next section. 3 verses will do, 3 or 4. Yeah, three verses will do, or maybe just 2, and we'll stop for the day. So verses 32, 33, and 34, they begin a new section, Krishna's instruction, because Arjuna asked two questions to Krishna. Who are you? And what is your mission? What do you want to achieve? That's what Arjuna's questions or queries are. So the answer is given in the next verse, 32. Shri Bhagavano Vacha Kalosmi Lokakshay Krit Pravitto Lokan Samahartumiha Pravittaha Ritepi Tvam Na Bhavishyanti Sarve Eva Sthita Pratyanikeshu Yodhaha. Kalosmi, I am time. First answer. Second, Lokakshay Krit Pravrittaha. For what reason have you come here? I have come here to Lokakshay Krit Pravrittaha, to destroy everyone, to lead to destruction. Of course, not destruction of the soul. Soul cannot be destroyed. It's talking about material destruction. So Kal, or time feature of Krishna, Kala Rupa, has the duty of causing material destruction. Everything is changed by time. Time changes people, situations, things, places, everything. We know that when we study history, so many kings have come and gone, so many politicians have come and gone, so many people who are rising stars, after some time they are no longer in the sky. Forget about rising. They are no longer in the sky. They are lost. They are gone. The names are dead. People are dead. Relationships are dead. So time does that. It recycles everything. So that's its function. Creation, destruction. Change basically means something is destroyed for something to be created. That's change. The elements, they transform from one form to another form. That's change. Like when a body is burned, so the 5 elements, they are put into fire, and finally it turns into ash, which is just again another manifestation of those 5 elements. So in this way, time brings change. Time destroys. Time destroys our plans. Time destroys everything. So that is the function of time. Let's read the purport here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain." Purport. Amrita Velasini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Prana. Me? Amrita, right? Okay. Although Arjuna knew that Krishna was his friend and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore, he asked further about the actual missions of this devastating force. It is written in the Vedas that the Supreme Truth destroys everything, even the Brahmanas, as stated in the Karta Upanishad. Yasya Brahmacha Kasatrancha Ube Odanaha Mrityu Yasyopase Chanam Ka Ita Veda Yatrasa. Eventually, all the Brahmanas, Shastras, and everyone else are devoted like the male by the Supreme. This form of the Supreme Lord is the all devouring giant, and here Krishna presents himself in that form of all devouring time, except for a few Pandavas. Everyone who was present on that battlefield would be devoured by him. Arjuna was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight. Then there would be no frustrations. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed. For that was his plan. If Arjuna stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destructions, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So that's the law of nature, So here we are trying to understand the cause of anything. When we study this subject, cause and effect, in Sanskrit it is known as Hetu Gyan. Hetu Gyan means what causes what, trying to understand that. So there is always different kinds of causes. One is called remote cause and one is called immediate cause. Most of the people, when they study the cause of something, they only look at the immediate cause. What caused this thing? However, Vaishnavas or learned scholars, philosophers, they try to look at the remote cause. What is the origin? Why Mahabharata war happened? There can be so many remote causes for it. One can be, there was a fight going on between two brother families, or Draupadi was disrespected in the assembly, or this reason, or that reason. But if you look at the remote cause of why Mahabharata war happened, because it was wanted by the Supreme Lord. Now, if you look at the cause of that, why the Lord wanted it, why the Lord wanted the Mahabharata war to happen, then again, because it was prayed by Bhumi Devi to the Lord in the form of Vishnu. I am troubled by so many demonic forces that are living on me. So please come to help me. So Vaishnavas, they always look at the remote cause. And when they look at the remote cause, they find Krishna there. And when they find Krishna being instrumental in some way, then they don't have any kind of, what do you call, grudge towards what is happening. They accept things the way they are, because they know ultimately it's in the control of Krishna. Krishna's hand is there. So when we don't see God's merciful hand in what is happening to us in our life, we'll be disappointed, frustrated, unhappy, dissatisfied. But when we see Krishna's merciful hand in anything that happens to us, good or bad, then it gives us strength to see it in the right perspective and not be shattered by it. So here, Krishna is the cause of all that is happening here. But then there are remote causes. This person did this, that person did that. That all is happening, So all are moving just like in a clock or in a watch, in a hand watch. Not the modern types, but the old ones. If you open a watch, you'll see so many small pieces of machineries working together to just show us the time. Similarly, in the great watch of the universe, all the living entities are like tiny parts playing their different roles, rotating and revolving. And that leads to a certain history or certain activities happening on the planet. So this war is happening in that way. Krishna is orchestrating everything. He's pulling people in, he's pushing people out, he's making all the arrangements, who will win, who will lose, who will die, who will survive, everything. He's pulling on the strings and people are just like puppets dancing. So he made that sure that these will die And Arjuna could see that, who will die. So here now we have something to think about, which is very important, which is to be given some attention. So let's discuss this. Let's discuss this. If things are destined to happen as per God's plan, why not just wait and watch for them to unfold? Why endeavor? No, because anyway, those things are going to happen. Prabhupada mentioned in the purport here, if Arjuna did not fight, it doesn't mean that those people will not die who are supposed to die. They will die. Some or other, they will die. If Arjuna doesn't fight, still it's going to happen. So if that's how it is, why people should endeavor? Why endeavor? And give all the many reasons possible, looking at this question from different perspectives. Why put any endeavor if that's going to happen? Just like Dhritarashtra thought, if the war is supposed to happen, if my sons are supposed to die, what am I supposed to do then? I'll just wait and watch. Why should I do anything? After all, who am I? I am a very insignificant person. I can't do anything. So, you just accept it the way it is. And if that is how life should be lived, then why should anyone do any kind of endeavor? In some people's birth charts, it's also written that this is this person's last life. There's moksha gati for this person, which means this person will attain liberation. So again, that person may also think, my endeavor, I'm anyway going to get moksha. Okay, so answer, Salome Mataji, doing our dharma, aspiring to live according to Krishna's law, as we have built up much karma, so we must rectify it. Okay, so, but then, fine, I understand your point. You said we have to do things to rectify our karma, correct? But then if it is already destined, what is there, what is going to come in the future, how you're doing your karma going to rectify the situation? Do your duty. Why do your duty? We have to follow God's instruction as sent by God. Okay, Hanit Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, as per my limited understanding, whenever there is something which is going to happen, there are two ways to react to a situation. Either you just sit quietly and you wait for things to happen because you know what is going to be the end result, or you become a part of that plan and you do your bit to help God to execute the plan. Now, the example that I would give here is that when Mother Sita was captured and when she was to be, rescued, when Lord Ram was crossing over, the little squirrel could have quietly sat and watched because she knew that, okay, this is Supreme Lord Ram and there are so many people to help and, he will ultimately go rescue. But she did her bit. She picked up even the little stone and she put it. So she was a part of the plan and she was helping God to fulfill his plan. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yes, good, correct. Thank you. Anshu Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Looking from the material point of view, see, there is a shloka that Uddyamen hi siddhyante karyani na manorathe nahi suptasya singasya pravishanti mukhe mriga. So without any act being done, the things are not going to not possible. So everyone has to act. And so endeavor has to be made.
Yeah, okay. So you also explained the translation of that shloka, just like a lion sleeping. He cannot think, if I just open my mouth, then an animal will come and jump into it. And that's how I will eat that animal. That lion also has to go out for hunting, So the lion cannot think, I can just sleep and wait and watch. Thank you. So we must endeavor to get what is destined to come. Yes, Kavita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What I feel, we are the makers of our destiny, but we are not the masters of our destiny at all. So we must put our efforts, because if we do what we can, maybe it is little, then Krishna will do what we can't.
Okay, fine. So, all right, thank you. Neha Mataji.
Prabhuji, it will make us a better person if we act as per God's plan. If we endeavor, it will make us a definitely better person.
Very good, thank you. Yes, we have another raised hand. Arati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, sorry. Yeah, one is when we endeavor, we get His mercy.
Okay, we get His mercy. Fine. I think are you frozen, Mataji, or you're talking? The internet is weak, it seems.
I'm talking, Prabhu. You're not able to hear?
Now we can. Please talk.
Yeah. Yeah, one is when we endeavor, we get His mercy. The other is Lord wants to give us the credit, even though He does it, I mean, directly, but He wants us to get that credit.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Rajat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. If we have to progress, then we have to have that free will to endeavor and do things. If we do everything as per God's plan, then where is our development?
Okay, means you are saying if we just wait and watch, then where is our development?
Yes.
That's what you're
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay, fine. Good. Bhakti Mataji.
Prabhuji, our actions that we perform are building up our own karma. Like at a particular situation, what we do decides, like these karmas build up and they make a platform for what happens to us in next life. What is going to happen is going to happen, but in that process, what we do is adding to our karma as in the part of our life.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so good. So basically, you all are trying to say that yes, what is destined to happen, but then we have to play our role. So that role can be seen as a duty. That role can be seen as an opportunity to rectify one's karma. That role can be seen as a means to generate new karma and shape our future in a new way or a better way, right? So that is all correct. And as Hanid Mataji said, also we have to do our part, like the squirrel, she did its part. And also people will have these kinds of questions in mind. Why should I not just wait and watch if everything is destined? Because they don't see life as an opportunity. They see life as a punishment. Life is not a punishment. Life is an opportunity to actively love and serve the Supreme Lord. So to cooperate with Krishna's plan, one has to actively do something, right? So by doing your part, that, okay, this is what the Lord wants, let me also cooperate in that. Let me also play an insignificant role in that, right? So by doing that, one is actually doing bhakti. That's all bhakti is. Srila Prabhupada, he often told that he did not do anything extraordinary. He just did what the Supreme Lord wanted to happen. And because no one did it, he tried, he got the credit. No one tried even to go out of India and preach Krishna consciousness, but he tried. And because this is something which Lord Chaitanya wanted, it happened and he got the credit. He got the blessings. So why people often they don't do something like that? Because first of all, they don't know what is God's plan. They're in ignorance. And second, even if they know God's plan, they have their own separate plans, right? So then they don't want to cooperate with God's plan. They have their separate plans. Just like sometimes the whole family is deciding to do one thing, and one member of that family says, no, I have a different plan. I want to do something else. You all want to go to this restaurant. I want to go to some other restaurant. You want to go for movie. I want to go for watching the FIFA match. So, different plan. And similarly for conditioned souls, that's what happens. Either they don't know the plan or they have a separate plan. And limited time and energy has to be used in executing maybe just one plan. So that's why busy in doing that, busy in doing that. This is harsh reality. There are so many people out there, they know Gita, they know Bhagavad, they know life is meant for liberation. They know we should not commit sinful activities. They know all of that. But if you ask them, why not practicing Krishna consciousness? Because they say, we have many things to do in life. Once all that is done, then we will practice Krishna consciousness. We have our plans. Once all those plans are fulfilled, then yes, I know this is to be done. Then I will do this. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam Kunti Maharani says, she says, Namo akinchana vittaya. She says, only someone who has been exhausted with all these material plans, that person can take completely to bhakti. One who is finished with all material plans, that person can give 100% to devotional service, 100% to pleasing Krishna or satisfying Krishna, loving Krishna. Only that person. But as long as one has material plans, one is not exhausted with material plans, that complete surrender is not going to happen. Won't happen. Not possible. So life is an opportunity to come to that realization. And Krishna is offering that opportunity to Arjuna. That Arjuna, you do this because though it's destined to happen, but I want you to become the medium. If you don't become the medium, someone else will become the medium. So why don't you become the medium? And you do, right? Let's look at the next verse. Now Krishna is also encouraging Arjuna by saying something. Tasmatam uttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshvarajyam samriddham maye vaite nihata purvameva nimittamatram bhavasavya sachin. So Krishna is saying here, this is a very beautiful shlok. So he's saying, Tasma tvam uttishta. So he's not telling Arjuna, okay, I showed you that everyone is going to die. So just as you sat and watched the entire movie, you also sit and watch the war happening, and you sit and watch everyone dying. And that's how, the result will be achieved. He said, no. Now once you know what is going to happen, don't sit back. Tvam uttishta. He's saying, get up. You should stand up and do your path. You should do your duty. You should fight, So don't become lazy. You do what you're supposed to do. Do your part. Yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham. Right? Yeah. And then you conquer your enemies, and in this way you enjoy the kingdom. Arjuna wanted to know what's the outcome of the battle. Krishna told him very clearly, the result is you'll be victorious and you'll become the king. Means your brother will become the king. Maye veita nihata purvameva. I have already killed all of these people. Then what am I supposed to do? Arjuna says, Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. You just become nimitta. You just become the instrument. You just become that, right? Isn't it? So just like sometimes the mother would tell the child, I have done everything. You just have to switch on the gas. You just have to switch on the gas. Then the meal will be cooked, and then you switch off the gas. Only that much you have to do. Everything else is put in the vessel for cooking. So I've done everything. Similarly, Krishna says, everything is done by me. You just have to become an instrument, instrument. And then the result will be achieved. Savya sachin. Savya sachin means one who is ambidextrous, means one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field, as shooting arrows with both the hands. So Arjuna was blessed to be like that. Generally, people are not like that. They can maybe hold the bow with right hand and shoot the arrows with left hand, or hold the bow with left hand and shoot the arrows with right hand, means being left-handed or right-handed. But Arjuna was so amazing fighter, he could just change, hands. He could move the bow from one hand to the other and then shoot with the another hand, which means that he didn't have to, for shooting arrows in two directions, he didn't have to turn or move. He would just move the bow from one hand to the other hand and shoot, so that made him very fast. He was very fast in shooting arrows. Very swiftly he would shoot arrows. So Arjuna is addressed as expert warrior, capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Krishna is telling that. Nimitta matra, you become an instrument. Okay, so therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. O Sabyasachi. Prabhupada, yes. And okay. Hanit Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Savyasachin refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. Thus, Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Just become an instrument, nimitta matram. This word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish people who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this or maybe like that, but there is no question of perhaps and maybe. There is a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home. As long as they have the domineering mentality, which makes them try to lord it over material nature, they are conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic manifestation is under the superior guidance of God. Thus, the battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight in accordance with the desire of the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. If one is in full Krishna consciousness and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service, he is perfect. Hare Krishna.
Yes, perfect. So here Arjuna is being told to become an instrument. And there's a plan of God that's been mentioned here. So Krishna has an amazing plan, and the plan is to rectify and rescue the living entities from Maya and bring them back home, back to Godhead. That's what his plan is. When it comes to material world, that's his only plan. Anything that happens in the material world is Krishna's compassion for living entities to get a chance to go back home, back to Godhead. That's why everything is happening. So here now there's another very important thing to understand. There's a lesson and there's an important thing to understand. The greatest joy is the joy of being used by the Lord in his service. There cannot be a better joy than this. This is the greatest joy. And this is the joy of bhakti or devotion, that let Krishna use me the way he likes. I want to just do what he likes, what he wants, cooperate with Krishna. And that gives one the greatest happiness. There cannot be any comparison to that happiness with material happiness. Material life also gives us some happiness, but that happiness is so flimsy. It comes, we just touch it, and then it goes away. But then this happiness, it survives for long, and then also it survives for eternity. And the depth of this happiness or the height of this happiness is amazing. that one is completely in bliss or ecstasy. So now here there is something else also to understand. See, Krishna addressed Arjuna as Sabyasachi. In the Mahabharata war, on the side of Pandavas, they were great warriors. But the hero of the war was Arjuna, because Arjuna, he killed most of the great fighters on the Kaurava side. Arjuna destroyed most of the Akshauhini Senas of the Kauravas. So Arjuna was the champion of Mahabharata. Why? Because Arjuna was skillful. He was capable. He was a good Kshatriya, an excellent fighter. Now, there is therefore something to understand. Arjuna is ambidextrous. He has many special skills. So what is the role of human skills in Krishna consciousness? Should we spend time in developing newer and newer skills? Is being skillful enough to please Lord Krishna? Srila Prabhupada, once he said, Krishna chose me to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. And for that, then he also added, that I had some special qualifications. What was that? Amongst all the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada was one who had expert knowledge and understanding of Bengali, Sanskrit, and English, 3 languages. He was master in all. Bengali because he was born in Bengal, that was his mother tongue, and he was studying Sanskrit and English in his college days. He was doing studies in that, and he was also studying Western philosophy in those days. So he knew about different kinds of philosophies, philosophers, before understanding Vaishnava philosophy. So he said that this was also a reason why he was successful to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. And so he had sufficient faith in the spiritual master, in the holy name, all that was there. That is spiritual. But when we talk about language of Sanskrit, English, and Bengali, that is material. So material skills are important to do nice service to Krishna. So material skills, if they are there, we should not deny them. Rather, we should use them in Krishna's service, right? So, but being skillful enough is not sufficient to please Krishna. There are many people who can sing very well, dance very well, cook very well, dress very well, manage very well, speak very well, right? But that doesn't lead to pleasure of Krishna. So skills are not enough. There has to be devotion also. Devotion has to be added, right? And should we, now the middle part, should we spend time in developing newer and newer skills? So what is the answer to that? Yes, no. Bhakti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we should first question what is the role. I'll answer all these 3 in one answer in a connected way. Whenever we like to develop a skill, either on a personal level, for a personal reason, or for a professional level, we have to try to connect it in some way so that it can be utilized for in our devotional service. Like in a personal way, if I'll say, if I like to draw, or if I like to paint, or if I like to, if I'm engaged in making posters, then I can develop the skill to make posters, or utilization for, like if for a temple we need to, we have festivals. So for those reasons, we can make a few posters. Like that is what we do. We can make posters for that. So we are engaging our skills in that way. Now, if you are falling short of some skill, you can develop a skill. You can make a poster, but you don't know how to make a video. So you can learn that as a new skill. So these, in this kind of way, you can engage your skill and connect it to Krishna in some way or the other.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Aarti Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, I definitely think it is good to learn new skills, which can help us in our devotion. For example, it could be, if I have an interest in singing, and if I can sing for the Lord, to please him, then I think it is good to develop those skills. That's what I.
Okay. Anit Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there are two ways of looking at it. One is that you like doing something and you deploy that skill for Krishna. And second is that you may either not have the skill, or you may not like to do it, but there is a service that has been given to you, and for that, even if you don't like it, even if you don't know it, you put in the effort to become an expert at it, or at least learn it, and then do the service.
Yes, okay, correct. So one is because of your taste, and the other is because of the need.
Yes.
Anju Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I would like to add here that if the skill is easily obtained by you, you should go for it. But instead, like wasting a lot of time and doing thing which is not in your caliber, not in your limits. Instead of that, we should do bhakti and pray, because Lord says that dadami buddhi yogam tam. So by our bhakti, by our devotion, by our surrender, we might eventually get it if Lord really wants us to get it.
Correct. Okay, it's fine. Thank you. Anyone else? Sleeping souls? Many are sleeping souls today in the class. So what about you? Sneha Mataji.
If it helps us in growing in our devotion towards Krishna, then we should develop our new skills. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Fine. All right. So yes, the answer is yes and also no. So Vijaya Krishna Mataji's answer is quite perfect. To some extent, yes, but not the entire life, just developing skills. Yes, So Srila Prabhupada, when he was approached by disciples, depending on what was the situation, sometimes he encouraged his disciples, sometimes he discouraged his disciples to learn something new. Like if his disciple already knew how to play a harmonium, so he would say, fine, very good. You engage your skill in serving Krishna. But if his disciple would ask him, can I join some university to do this course on learning this particular skill, and then I'll use that skill in Krishna service? Prabhupada would say, just manage with whatever Krishna has given to you and offer that to Krishna. Just manage with that, because already you know a lot which can be used in Krishna service. So Prabhupada would not just keep on encouraging people to learn new and new things to use in Krishna service. The reason why, because when we talk about learning new skills, it is good as long as you are a karma adhikari. Karma adhikari means your main way of pleasing Krishna is through your work, and that is going to be there true when we are still so much influenced by mode of passion. However, as one makes progress in Krishna consciousness, then one rises to the stages of Jnana Adhikar and Bhakti Adhikar. Then when one gets Bhakti Adhikar, then a person is not interested in external material skills. Then person focuses more on what's going on in my heart. What is my consciousness? Am I offering Krishna this particular object with love or not? Then external things will not matter. Then it will not matter how beautiful is the dress that you're offering to Krishna, how rich is the food that you're preparing for Krishna. All that will not matter. What will matter is what is the amount of love in your heart while you do that thing. So if you look at the old deities of Krishna, you find them, they are not carved so beautifully, right? Isn't it? You don't really find them beautiful to look at. Of course, they are deities of Krishna, so they are worshipable to us. But then the devotees who worship those deities, for them, Krishna's external look, the way the deity is carved, the way the deity is dressed, did not matter. They focus more on the spiritual reality, the consciousness factor. right? So if someone is a neophyte, then yes, enthusiastically learn something to serve Krishna. But as one makes progress in Krishna consciousness, then one will understand, instead of wasting so much time to learn something new, I should just sit and chant Hare Krishna. That's much more pleasure giving. I should sit and hear Bhagavatam. I should sit and recite Bhagavatam. I should sit and think of Krishna's pastimes. Then to just do something. So it depends on what phase of Krishna consciousness we are in, right? And second, how easily that skill is acquired. Like, this year only, some devotees, they told me they are learning Sanskrit at the age of 55, or at the age of 50, or at the age of 45. And I told them, good, that's very nice. Sanskrit is a wonderful language. If you know Sanskrit, you can understand the Gita shlokas better, Bhagavatam shlokas better. But then, is this the age to learn a new language? Just manage with whatever you know. You know English well, you know Hindi well. First, you read all the books which are written in English by Srila Prabhupada. Then, if you get time, then there are so many other books to read. But if you want to learn Sanskrit, you will spend so much time to learn that language, and you may not even survive to use that language, right? You may die. So we have to see which phase of life we are in. Second thing, what is our level of consciousness? Are we karmadhikaris still? Yes. And then we have to engage our passionate nature in learning things, experimenting with stuff, trying to use that in Krishna consciousness, following the verse, Yat Karoshi, Yad Ashnashi, Yad Juhoshi, 9.27, right? But if we are more advanced in Krishna consciousness, then we do not have to acquire new skills to serve Krishna. Then be the way you are and engage your mind and heart in Krishna service. That's more important. That's much more necessary, right? And not waste time in learning new things. Okay, because the purpose of knowing anything is to please Krishna. And if one is pleasing Krishna, then there is no need to know more things, right? The use of knowledge is to love and serve Krishna. Okay, we'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Hare Krishna. Will Arjuna forget the fearful Vishwarupa later as Duryodhana forgot? Otherwise, he may go into trauma. He will not go into trauma because Arjuna's experiencing Krishna's Vishwarupa or Kalrup is not material fear. That is spiritual fear. It's not material fear, right? It's spiritual, which means that fear will also lead to spiritual happiness. Not spiritual, not material suffering. So it's not same as a person going through a trauma in material life. That was not the experience of Arjuna. When Arjuna says, I'm scared, I'm frightened, I cannot stand a moment looking at this form for more time, that is all spiritual emotions and experience, not comparable to material experience. Are global warming, pollution, deterioration of the earth resources all plans of God, or are the humans causing these things? Good question. So, time is a manifestation of the collective karma of people, So, the way the world is moving is because of the collective karma of the living entities on the planet. And for that, the people are to be considered responsible. When we say it's plan of God, we should know that because Mahabharata is happening as a plan of God, it doesn't mean that everything that everyone does, that's a part of God's plan. Krishna's plan is to facilitate rescue of living entities. So that plan is parallelly going on along with individuals' plans to do so many kinds of activities, But ultimately, his plan is the blanket, and everything else happens within that blanket. So if global warming is leading to someone becoming a devotee of Krishna, then you can say, yes, it is Krishna's plan. If pollution is leading to someone becoming a devotee of Krishna, yes, that is Krishna's plan. If the problems in life are leading to becoming devotees of Krishna, then that is Krishna's plan. That's how a devotee will see it, But if it's not leading to that result, then it is not Krishna's plan, then it is a mischief. Then it is our wrongdoing, right? Only when we align our activities, our goals, our intentions to the ultimate plan of going back, come back to Godhead, we can say this is Krishna's plan. But if you're not aligning ourselves with that plan, then it is our mischievous act. It's not Krishna's plan. Then it's a mischievous act. So then we get a reaction for it. And ultimately, when you talk about anything happening wrong on the planet, ecological unbalance, well, it's all recycling happening. Earth will go through different phases. There'll be sometimes volcano, sometimes earthquake, sometimes creation, sometimes destruction, right? So we should be concerned about what's happening in the planet Earth ecologically, but we should not be over concerned about it, and we should not spend too much time in just rectifying it, because ultimately we'll not be able to do that. So we should see that as a signal to become a devotee. That's the main point. Okay, in this way we can say that Lord wants to reduce a lot of Earth, Russia and Europe war going on. You see, we can say many things depending on our thinking or our consciousness, that this is what Krishna wants, that is what Krishna wants. Ultimately, if it leads to an individual's developing more Krishna consciousness, then yes, that is what Krishna wants. If no, then it doesn't have one straight answer to it. It is because of also independent plans of different living entities that different things are going on. So war is going on. So if you want to see it from the perspective of Krishna, then you can say, okay, this is a cleansing activity going on. Some people are dying, population is getting reduced, and in that way some cleansing is happening. But then if you see from individual or our perspective only, then it's not that because Krishna's that plan is functioning, we don't have our doing in it. So we also have our doing in it. So those who are in Russia and Ukraine, they cannot say that we are fighting because God wants us to fight. No, it's not like that, right? God wants them to sit peacefully and chant Hare Krishna, right? But because they are not doing that, then this is what is happening. Material nature is forcing them to fight. Material nature is forcing them to have a war with each other, right? So, okay, anything else? No, we'll stop. See you next week. Continue from verse number 34 of chapter 11. And we'll try to complete the chapter maybe in next class or next to next class. Surely we'll complete.